All right, folks, give me one quick moment here. All right, folks, give it just one quick moment here, and we'll get us over to the racetrack as quickly as we can. As we got them coming out for 5 minutes of warm-up. So while that's going on, let's please take this time to honor our flag.
Ladies and gentlemen, our national anthem, the Star Spangled Banner.
All right, back here at the racetrack. Drivers are getting things warmed up here, and for some reason we've lost the overlay. We're getting that back now, though, so give us one quick moment here. As for some reason it decided to quit on us. Give us a moment here as it comes back up live. All right, you, what are you doing here? Okay, something's acting up here. See if we can get this to reconnect. There's this. And this. There we go. Yep. All right. This is honestly one of my more favorite tracks to run at. We take on board here with Chase Matsko. He's coming down here. I don't know if he'll get a lap in or not. But the trickiest part of the racetrack that I think is going to be, and up here where Brooke Norris is coming up to, we're going to come up the hillside here. And you got to kind of time this just right, because it's a blind corner here. Because as soon as you come around this corner, it dips down to the right. And you got to catch that just right. And it comes up quickly. And we see the 120, or the 26 there of Chase Matsko following along the 115 of Darrell Winninger. Down here off the corner. And you see him making it through there. All right, warm-ups has ended. We're getting ready for the start of the race here tonight. 45 minutes to decide the GT3 race tonight. Who's it going to be? As it looks like we've got starting up front Mark Nelson in that number 86. Now we take a look at the grid here. Mark Nelson starting on pole with Brooke Morris. They're in second. We got Daryl Whittinger there in third. Patrick Warwick's there in fourth. Chase Matsko fifth. Jamie MacArthur there in sixth. Jacob Wilson in seventh. Robert Milbrat there in eighth. Paul Wetland in ninth. Michael Leminsk there in 10th. Brad Garlett in 12th. I got to see who's coming up there into the 11th spot. That's going to be Joseph Spillman coming up into number 11. And don't pay attention to the dang date. It's always goofed up. This is 4/21 of 25. All right. It's all set to go here, waiting for... Oh, we got a pace truck here tonight, taking us around the WeatherTech. And I'm sorry, apparently that grid did not come up and show. So we'll go ahead and bring it back up here for you all to see again. Mark Nelson will start pole. Brooke Morris there in second. Winninger, and we're getting ready to go green right here off the start. Green flag is out. They're down and away. Here we go. Starting a 45-minute run up here across the top of this hill, down here into that left-hand turn. Down here, we got a sharper left-hand turn as Mark Nelson comes down in there, and we're 2 by 2. Great job by these drivers so far navigating this as they're too wide. Coming there through, everybody's trying to find their position in line as they come here off the corner as they're still battling for a position. You see that Ford Mustang there, Jacob Wilson, as he rolls on through. Here comes Jamie MacArthur in that fourth spot. And they roll here off of corner number 4, I believe. Let's get a track map up so maybe we can distinguish where we're at. There we are, big track map here tonight. As we see up through 7 coming up here. Great job by these drivers. Now this is the tricky part. As you'll see them, they got to duck down and then dip down to the right. As you see them drivers doing a great job getting through there. There's Michael Leminsk because he's rolling on through. Joseph Spillman out. Garlett out. And, of course, I'm here in the booth. So, unfortunately, the races tonight, I'm showing up on the grid, even though I'm not racing. And that is because iRacing is not letting me spectate the way I normally do. I don't understand why it's not giving me that option. It only gives me an option to register instead of spectate. Mark Nelson back here in third. He's dropped back from where he's from the pole position. There you see Chase Matsko and that Castrol GTX machine. They roll off down here through. Off of 3 through 4, up here in the 5. All single file. The only incident I see so far is by Leminsk. There you see Chase going off track a little bit. Oh, he spun it all the way around. We'll see if they... So Chase going all the way around. Now they come up through here. And this is going to be where I see a lot of drivers possibly getting off track. Is coming up through off of this. Off of that hillside. Because when you come up... Watch it. And I believe... There he goes. That is an off track right there. Well, I guess not. Okay, he must have kept it on track enough. But Brooke Morris out front at number 97. Daryl Whittinger there in second. Mark Nelson third. Jamie MacArthur back here in fourth. I see them all coming down through off of the start. There they go. Off the start finish line. Up there off the corner. Here comes Paul Wetland. There comes Michael Leminsk. Rolling back there in that Porsche. Hey, Mark Nelson rolling around in his Porsche back here. Michael Lemens, as you see there, Chase Matsko, after getting himself spun around, ended up having to work off the corner and up there off. And here comes Brooke Morris rolling on through. There's Darrell Winninger. They're in the Mustang rolling off. And here comes that Porsche of Mark Nelson. Mark Nelson seems to really enjoy that Porsche. As Jamie MacArthur comes down there through there with his McLaren. Patrick Works in the Corvette. Jacob Wilson with a Mustang. Rolling off down here, off the corner, heading back towards the straight, or the stripe, up here across. Heading down here into corner number 1 and 2. Brooke Morris there. What a great job by these drivers so far. Not really seeing too much of an issue. As we see Lemens go around, spinning it around off the track. Got to try to get it straightened out. And quick off track here, you see a couple of them. Mark Nelson now makes a pass from Brooke Morris as he ends up around. Take a look at what happened to the leader here. Brooke Morris, he was running in the lead. Ends up coming up through there. And, oh, man, just overshoots the corner somehow and slides it off the racetrack. Easily done here. He gets it up there through the gravel pits, getting it rolling again. And on down through. There you see Mark Nelson there following Darrell Winninger. Jamie MacArthur back here in third. Now with Patrick Warwick's back here in fourth. Jacob Wilson in fifth. Robert Milbrath there in sixth. Paul Wentland. Brooke Morris is following clear back in the eighth. He tried to get that machine back under control and heading towards the front of the pack again. We see Chase Matsko, and way back here coming through turn 1 right now is Michael Lemens in that Porsche. There's the other Porsche, or another Porsche, I should say, of Mark Nelson as he tries to chase down Brooke Morris, still trying to get back up into where he was. I see something jumping around here. We'll see. And there's your gain so far. MacArthur up 3 spots. Morris down 5. They head on down here in the corner number 1 once again. Mark Nelson in that 115 of Winninger. And Winninger looked really good out there in practice and qualifying. Along with the warm-ups. I know we didn't quite catch everything that we were hoping to, but this is one of my more favorite tracks. I don't know why. I just enjoy this track, just the way it's laid out. I feel comfortable here, and it's just a fun speedway. See if we can get on board. There we go. We're on board with Mark Nelson out of Pierre, South Dakota. You'll watch him come down there through the heading towards the start-finish line. As he chases down that leader there in front of him, Darrell Winninger. And really, he's just in a position right now. He don't want to make a mistake, but he don't want to force an issue either. So he's going to try to ride behind here as long as he can in hopes that Daryl Winninger makes a slight mistake through one of these corners. Mark Nelson's going to stay tied to his bumper at this point in time. He may be just a tad quicker, but it's just getting that machine to get up there. We come up here in about corner number, I think that's corner number 5, coming up the hill into 6 and 7. Or heading back down again up the hillside, and this is where it gets tricky. This turn right here, you got to come down here, and then you got to turn here to the left, and then a quick turn to the right. Can get a few drivers there. You see Brooke Morris coming through there. There comes Jacob Wilson, Paul Wentland, Chase Matsko. Here comes that 45 of Robert Milbrath. They're all doing a fair job of getting down through there. As you see, Daryl Winninger is still leading the race. Patrick Warwick's back here in 4th. As Lemensk has issues once again. Robert Milbrath ended up off track. Chase Matsko making a pass on Wentland, as you see there at the forward of your screen. Wentland there in that good wrench number 82, 82. A lot of marbles on the speedway. I don't know if that's necessarily a good thing. I just look at all those, the gravel sitting there on the speedway through that certain section. Here comes Patrick Warwicks. He comes down through. You got Milbrath, or is that Paul Wentland off track, I guess. There you see Brooke Morris up to 4th. Just trying to gain some momentum, get back up there towards where he was. And really, a lot of this can come down to pit strategy also, as they're going to make one pit stop by the end of the race, which most guys take around halfway, which would be about, well, I guess it'd not be completely halfway, be more or less the 30-minute mark, I would kind of gather. Nelson staying right on the bumper of that 115 of Daryl Winninger. Just waiting for his chance to strike. All Winninger should do is just keep an eye on what's in front. Don't look down at that little camera thing there between the driver or there on the dash. See if we can get another shot of that. This is the helmet cam here. And you can see that camera there. He can see Nelson there behind him. And that camera doesn't do justice. He is a lot closer than what he looks in that camera. Driver's starting to get spread out. This is your leader, Daryl Winninger. Followed up by Mark Nelson. Here comes Brooke as he comes up, storming up there to that McLaren of Jamie MacArthur. He's going to try to get up there and make a pass there. There you see Chase Matsko. He's getting up to that Mustang. And that Mustang there of the leader is out front. There you see Brooks trying to get up there and battle with MacArthur. That's sometimes the toughest, the most difficult thing to do here at road courses. Did you see Chase getting under fire there from Jacob Wilson? Wilson up here on the top side of this corner as they whirl around. Looks like it's going to be Chase Matsko being able to get that position. That'll move Chase up to 6th. And that's not the easiest thing to do. To find the area to try to get the move them up into the next position. Thank you there, Jacob Wilson. We see the sticker there on the front and side of your car for autism awareness. We appreciate you doing that here at Flieger Farm TV. As you're watching that purple and turquoise machine roll around the speedway there in about 6th position. After he had some issues. Well, no, I wouldn't say he had issues, but he got passed there by Chase Matsko up there to pit. There we see the leaders coming by. Paul Wetland is in the pits. He's coming out of the pits right now. As you see the leaders coming around here through that tight corner. And right in front of them is that number 97, or I'm sorry, no, the Morris is on pit road. This is interesting. I was expecting to see them pit about 15 minutes to go. Well, I don't know. That's weird. Unless somebody had enough off tracks to warrant a pull through. But I didn't think that was quite the issue either. Yeah, they're only at 5 off tracks. For Chase Matsko and Morris. I don't know. Jacob Wilson crashed in that Mustang. I'm not sure what he did. It comes here off the corner. We'll see what happens here to Chase. For Jacob. And he just loses it around he goes. Got to try to lock it down. Make sure the track is clear and then gets back on the gas and gets away. All right, Mark Nelson out front. As he gone around Daryl Winninger finally. Jamie McArthur back here in 3rd. Patrick Works back here for it. Chase Matsko 5th. Robert Milbrath there in 7th. There you see Jacob Wilson in 7th. Michael Lemensk in 8th. Brooke Morris falling back here in the 9th after his pit stop. Paul Wetland back here in 10th after his pit stop. Wetland actually a lap down to Mark Nelson and Daryl Winninger. Now you see these drivers here coming off corner. Down that hillside here through. With Mark Nelson out front. Got a little under a half hour of racing left to go. As you see Jamie McArthur there in 3rd. Patrick Works back here in 4th, trying to chase Jamie down. Chase Matsko back here in 5th. Robert Milbrath in 6th. Working there through. And I'm seeing a lot of marbles still out on that raceway. And Wilson does a good job of navigating that corner. Trying to keep that momentum up. Mark Nelson's out front in that port. Dale Winninger there in 2nd. So pit stops right now. I think we only had 2 drivers come into the pits. Yeah, Morris and Wetland are the only 2 that came into the pits. Top speed for these drivers tonight, looking around 140 miles an hour, give or take a couple. They roll down here through off of the corner, heading up the hillside into that tight bend. Sorry, I don't have a map in front of me to really name the track off well. Alrighty, well, we'll get them out. Okay, that's the corkscrew up there. Wasn't sure what they called that. That's turn 8, the corkscrew. As you see, here comes that number 87 down there through. Patrick Warwicks. They come up there to turn number 5. Brooke Morris is coming through the Andretti hairpin down here at turn number 1. Okay, I see now. That's turn 2, my bad. And turn 2 is the Andretti hairpin. Here you see the 97 of Brooks coming up there. Brooke Morris coming up there through the corkscrew of turn 8, down here through 9, and the 10. Loop down to 11 and up onto that straightaway. So 11 full quarters here at WeatherTech. Just took me a moment to kind of get the bearings of what was what. There you're watching these drivers come up here through turn number 6. In the 7, you see Patrick Warwicks there at the back bumper of MacArthur. Chase Matsko, and that, I thought he was in a Corvette or something, but no, he's in a Audi. Well, I goofed that one up. And roll on down here into corner number 1, down here into the Andretti hairpin of corner number 2. And it looks like Matsko coming in a little hot. Had to try to get that thing slowed down enough to make that corner. Patrick Warwicks here in 4th. Not really seeing too much going on. I work here off the corner. See Mark Nelson out front. He's finally getting some distance between him and Daryl Werninger. Brooke Morris making a pass to get around Michael Amenz for that 8th position as he works his way up track through the field. Chase Matsko on pit road. He's going to pull it into his pit stall for service. Down here off the corner goes, down through the corkscrew goes Mark Nelson. Daryl Werninger there in 2nd. Brooke Morris now coming up there through off the start line, coming down there in the corner number 1. He's going to pass Matsko here, I'm sure. Well, maybe not. Matsko's getting off of pit road as he's coming there through that hairpin. Down here through off of 3. Hey, Matsko's trying just to keep that Audi going up through the pack. And they're also spread out. The closest battle we have is between Patrick Warwick's and Jamie MacArthur. Everybody else is kind of gapped out enough that we don't really see too much of a battle anywhere. But even then, this is about a second between Jamie MacArthur and Patrick. And in front of them, that's the lap down vehicle of Paul Wentland in that number 82. As Wentland goes into the dirt, you're going to have to slow down and let those others by. Jamie MacArthur still sitting third with Patrick Warwick trying to gain up there on him. We saw there Paul Wentland ended up going around in that Corvette. Now, see, there's part of me that's thinking I know this track by a different name. I'm not sure, though. I thought it was named something different, but I could be completely wrong. I don't know road courses all that well. I just know on The Sims, I've really enjoyed this track. One of my more favorite tracks. Haley, Robert Milbrath, rolling there, coming around the turn. Laments having issues once again. Now that Porsche ended up sideways for another time. Down here through the corkscrew. Mark Nelson out front by a good margin now over top of Darrell Winninger. Jamie MacArthur back here in third. Patrick Warwick in fourth. Robert Milbrath fifth. And please, if you're wanting to get into this, please come check us out at Freedom Motorsport Alliance. You can go ahead and get a hold of us here at Flinger Farm TV. We'd be more than happy to guide you in a spot. Guide you in getting signed up here at Freedom Motorsport Alliance. Hey, Jamie MacArthur there in third. Patrick Warwick there fourth. Robert Milbrath fifth. Jacob Wilson there in sixth. Chase Matsko there in seventh. Mark Nelson way up here out front. I see them all coming here off the corner. Joseph Spillman out. Wentland a lap down. Michael Lemenska a lap down as he's in the pits getting service. Trying to stay to that speed limit there on pit road. And we got the 45, Robert Milbrath coming in the pit road now. And Laments comes finally off of the exit. Milbrath getting fuel and stuff. We're coming up to getting close to 15 minutes to go. Hey, he's driving head down here off the corner. See Darrell Werninger there rolling through. Coming up here out of corner He's coming up here to corner number 6. Mark Nelson's coming down through the corkscrew. Jamie MacArthur and Patrick Warwick still fighting for this position. Chase Matsko sitting comfortably in fifth at the moment. Brooke Morris, he's on a charge. He's trying to come up through the field. Here you see the 28 of Jacob Wilson as he makes his pit stop. Now here's the thing. These drivers that might have pitted early, did they short pit but still have enough fuel to make it to the end? And I have heard a few drivers say tires on these road GT3s, yes, are important to some degree, but depending on the length of race. Hey, Jamie MacArthur coming in along with Patrick Warwick. I believe Daryl Winninger. Chase Matsko, I believe, did pit. Let's check on pit stops, see who made their stops and who hasn't. And it looks like Nelson and Winninger have not made a stop yet. So I'll have to keep an eye on Winninger and Nelson, as they have not made a pit stop yet. As you see, here comes Nelson around for another lap, along with Winninger. Now here comes Matsko up. No, I'm sorry, no, Matsko was the first one, or his first one who has made a pit. Patrick Warwick is coming off pit road. Well, this can get interesting here as Chase Matsko comes around, and we got the 8 of Lemensk off of track once again, spreading all kinds of marbles all over the place. Apparently he thought there wasn't enough traction on the track. Well, I got news for him. Those marbles, they can sometimes make it more loose instead of more traction. Come down through the corkscrew. Well, I guess they're clear down at 11 now. Here comes Lemensk. There you see Brooke Morris. Dale Winninger and Mark Nelson hits pit road this time. Does Winninger also? Yes, Winninger will also come into pits this time. Now, the eyes are on Chase Matsko. Where is he at on the track? He's coming up through turn number 4, heading into 5. How quickly can these drivers get off pit road? Now you see Nelson there on pit road getting service. Here comes Daryl Winninger. He hasn't made it into his box yet. Finally making it into his box. There's Nelson. Nelson is down and Nelson is away. So Nelson will hold on to the lead as he rolls out down there in the corner number 1. Winninger ends up going to be in second as it stands right now, but can Chase get up here and battle him? We're seeing how long this pit stop takes as Chase works his way there off of corner number 10 down here into down into 10 into 11. Here comes Daryl Winninger down here in the corner number 1. Now down here in the Andretti hairpin. He's down and away. Chase Matsko up there in the 3rd in that Audi. And what I'm curious about is back here, this Corvette, Brooke Morris. What's he got in store? Can he get up there and battle Chase at all? Or is he kind of stuck where he's at? It's tough to gain positions on a road course. We see Michael Lemensk, who struggled quite a bit here tonight. He is a lap down. Wentland is 4 laps down, and he decided to call it a night. So we're down to 9 cars on the track. Mark Nelson's out front. Darrell Winninger there in second. Chase Matsko third. Brooke Morris here in fourth. Jamie MacArthur fifth. Patrick Works in sixth. Jacob Wilson back here in seventh. Robert Milbrath in eighth. There they go, off the front stretch. Down here into corner number 1. Everything works out here. You see Darrell Winninger there in second. Chase Matsko here third. Eric Brooke Morris there in fourth. Hey, Brooke Morris there coming through the corkscrew. Up here through off that front. That's going to be Darrell Winninger coming down here through turn 1. Down here into turn 2, that Andretti hairpin. Mark Nelson out front as he goes there up into turn 5. He's definitely got that push figured out here tonight. As you see the push there, Robert Milbrath. He heads up the hillside, heading in heading towards the corkscrew. We're under 10 minutes to go here in the GT3s. On down off the corner, there you see Darrell Winninger there in second. Mark Nelson out there in first. Brooke Morris there in fourth. Jamie MacArthur there fifth. Patrick Works here in sixth. Jacob Wilson there in seventh. Robert Milbrath in eighth. Michael Leminsk in ninth as they work down through here. You see Mark Nelson up here in front, chasing down that lap machine. We really don't have anybody close to battle right now. We're just trying to keep track of who's on track, who's not. And see Morris there as we watch him come through off of corner number 2, the Andretti hairpin. Down here through 3, up here into 4. That 115 of Darrell Winninger is coming down through the corkscrew. Milbrath off track as he's getting lapped here by Nelson. And giving way as he should down here in the corner number 1. Hey, Darrell Winninger there in second. Chase Matsko there third. Brooke Morris there fourth. David MacArthur fifth. Patrick Works here in sixth. Everybody doing a great job rolling here as we're coming down slowly to that 5 minutes to go mark. Mark Nelson out front as your leader in that number 86. Currently you're watching that number 87 of Patrick Wrapz. Winninger coming down through off of turn number 10 down here towards 11. Matsko down through off of the corkscrew. Through 9, down here into 10. Now we said everybody's just trying to make it to the finish. 5 minutes to go. 5 minutes to go, drivers. Mark Nelson comes down there in the corner number 6. And he's got the 28 machine there in front of him. That's Jacob Wilson. And man, just look at that Porsche slide through these corners here. Mark Nelson really has it figured out with that Porsche. Chase Matsko back here in third as he's doing what he can to hang on to that. He's trying to figure out where. Okay, there's Brooke Morris. Now Brooke Morris is slowly gaining on him little by little. There's the gap. They come heading up there out of turn number 7, up there towards the turn number 8 corkscrew. There you go, down through the corkscrew. Marbles on the racetrack there. There's Chase Matsko's hanging on the third as it stands right now. Under 4 minutes to go. Down here into that Andretti hairpin goes Daryl Winninger. Chase Matsko back here in third. Brooke Morris in fourth. Jamie MacArthur back here in fifth with Patrick Wrapz back here in sixth. Jacob Wilson in seventh. Robert Milbrath eighth. Michael Laments back here in ninth. Everybody else is sitting out. We got them all coming around the speedway here. Coming to 3 minutes to go. 3 minutes. Before we go and classify a winner, as we're on board with Daryl Winninger out of Indianapolis, Indiana. Coming down here through the corkscrew. Pretty good shot there. There you see just how quickly those drivers have to navigate that. That is not the spot to lose focus. Now you're coming there through that turn, making a left-hand turn, and then all of a sudden you're going to make a right-hand turn. There's really no time to adjust to go straight. That's that you're going one direction, now you got to go the other. But I will say the way the track's laid out, the track does help you get through there if you're paying attention enough. I've seen drivers miss that turn and end up going straight down over the hillside. 2 minutes now to go for Mark Nelson and the field. So I'm going to guess if Nelson doesn't get back toward the line before we hit 43:30, it's going to be one more lap. I'm going to guess when he comes across the line, we might have the white flag. We'll look here. No, one more time to go. One more time around. Brooke Morris back here in fourth. So they're going to be a little over that 45-minute mark. As that 86 comes up through the track. Chase Matsko off track. That is not what he wants to do in front of this man here, Brooke Morris. Brooke Morris can capitalize on that if he was just able to. Morris now ends up going a little wide there through the final turn. Chase Matsko coming up here. Still got another lap after this one. And Mark Nelson's coming down through the corkscrew. And he's definitely got that Porsche on rails here tonight. Looking really good out there. Hopefully everybody's enjoying the race here at Flaker Farm TV on the pole. We've been enjoying bringing you all this racing action. Down here through the corkscrew goes Daryl Winninger. Chase Matsko there in third. Brooke Morris here in fourth. Jamie MacArthur back here in fifth, with Patrick Warwick there in sixth. Jacob Wilson in seventh. Robert Milbrath in eighth. Michael Lament back here in ninth. Paul Wentland, Joseph Spillman both out of this race. I don't even know. I honestly don't know if Spillman actually gridded up for the race, to be truthful. As Nelson's on the final lap. Or a checkered flag here. Well, I'm confused. I thought maybe we'd get a white flag lap. Trying to see if we can get a hold of the starter. Yeah, I'm not really seeing much of anything. I want to say, yeah, they're coming across the line now for finishing. So the grid should, or the finishing order should be coming as they're coming across the line now. Your results will shortly be in. Here's your finishing results. And once again, oh no, that's right. Okay. Tease. Mark Nelson finishes tonight in first. Daryl Winninger there in second. Chase Matsko third. With Brooke Morris there fourth. Jamie MacArthur there fifth. Patrick Warwick sixth. Jacob Wilson seventh. Robert Milbrath there eighth. Michael Lemensker in ninth. Paul Wentland there in 10th. And that'll be your finishing order here tonight. Alrighty, let's see who we can get with here. Chase Matsko. Good evening there, Chase. How's it going?
Good, how about you?
That's going well. Well, you got third. These guys are really tough competition out here anymore.
That was a battle. I spun myself out and fought back, so it was a good third place.
Yeah, you almost lost that again there coming towards the end of the race.
Yeah, I hit there's some red curbs in some of the corners, and if you hit him, you kind of go flying. So it was a little scary out there.
Were you a little nervous when Morris was starting to catch you?
Oh, he was right there. A couple more laps, he probably would have had me, but, got lucky on that one. He had a couple of incidents, too, so.
Well, you did a great job bringing that. I believe that's an Audi you were driving tonight, correct?
It was Acura.
Acura. Why do I keep getting the Audi and the Acura symbol goofed up?
It kind of looked the same. It started with an A, so close enough.
But you did a great job getting that car around. Well, I started off the night saying you were in a Corvette, but that was completely wrong.
Yeah, it kind of looks like a little bit of all of them, doesn't it? It's an interesting looking car.
Well, I didn't look at my standing sheet to really see what car it was, and I was just going off the body style real fast. And
yeah, for sure.
My eyesight definitely chalked it up as a Corvette for a couple laps. So I looked at the sheet. But yeah, it looks like you had a lot of fun out there. Hopefully we can continue to grow this league. This is one of my more favorite road course tracks. Whenever you're when I think of road courses and the road cars like the GT3 series, it's one of my more favorite tracks, I would say.
Well, it's an iconic track. And it's, we had a couple more people today, but they had some work things come up. So, but I know Randy. It's a little late for him sometimes. So we got people. It's just they're not full time all the time. So.
Yeah, we'll get there though. We'll get more full timers in, I'm sure. We're slowly gaining notoriety, and sure. So. But it was definitely fun to watch it all out there tonight. Congrats on getting that third place. You have sponsors or shout outs you want to shout out here?
I'm just going to shout you out and Mark out for running this league. We're having a good time and just keep it going.
Alrighty, and then we're doing something different. What are we doing? A Gen 4 race this Wednesday?
Yeah. Well, it's going to be a non-points race since the Cup Series is off last week. But I'm going to do it. We're going to do it at Auto Club. It's a good track for everybody to get used to the Gen 4 car.
Okay, I thought maybe we were going to Rockingham.
I wanted to, but it's a tough track for people, especially if a new car. A lot of people haven't drove. So Auto Club, I decided to go to Auto Club.
Oh, see, I don't shy away from tough stuff. I know what my favorite tracks are. Even though it's tough, I enjoy Rockingham.
Oh, it's awesome. I'm so glad that there was back in the NASCAR schedule too.
So, alrighty, well, Chase, we'll see you Wednesday night, and as we have that non-points race for the Gen 4s. So,
all right, man. Have a good night.
You too.
Thank you.
All right, I was Chase Matsko, our third place finisher. Let's go and get with our second place, Daryl Winninger. Good evening, Daryl. How's it going? I know you were hoping to kind of hang on to that win, but Nelson had some other thoughts on you for that one.
Yeah, he had another gear in him. And when we got past him there in the corkscrew, I think he had to slow down. Is the only reason we got past him, and then he just kind of took his time, and thankfully didn't pass me. And a couple of those turns are pretty scary for me. So yeah, he had me as a sitting duck, and I think we're all running for second place tonight.
Well, it was I know Brooke Morris. I don't know what happened to him, but he was pretty quick there at the beginning as well.
Yeah, he and I kind of split Mark in the corkscrew when he had to slow down, and as I come out, I couldn't see Brock, but I knew he was out there, and I think the other treacherous turn, the left-hander before the corkscrew, I think got it. I think that's the one that got him out. But, yep, we're all chasing second tonight.
No, it was fun to watch, and as I was telling Chase, this is one of my iconic tracks, one of my more favorite ones whenever you're talking GT3s or Formula cars.
Yeah, absolutely. You had, Alex Zanardi going through the corkscrew, passing somebody. It's got a long history. I've never been able to visit the track, but it would probably be a pretty good one to visit as well. So, a lot of history.
Alrighty, well, congrats here tonight, and we'll see how the rest of the season goes going forward. Are you joining us for the Gen 4s on Wednesday nights?
I probably am not. Like the rest of the league, it looks like a bunch of old guys looking for a GT3 league, and so that's what I was searching at. So, yep, I'll do my best to try to make it for the Monday nights.
Alrighty, well, great run here tonight, and we'll see how it goes next week.
Awesome, thank you.
Alrighty, now we'll get with Mark Nelson. Good evening, Mark. How's Victory Lane feel tonight?
Pretty good. Trying to figure out which kind of champagne I want, but otherwise, yeah, good.
I don't touch that type of bubble stuff.
Well, it's all the same to me. I'm probably gonna have a headache tomorrow.
I'd rather have the shine, I'm more a corn whiskey type of person. But congrats on getting another win here in the GT3s. And you look good out there. I know Daryl was saying it seemed like everybody was fighting for second tonight.
Well, he definitely gave me a run for my money. I was putting my foot in my mouth on lap 1. There was a few times I went into the corkscrew, and my braking point, for whatever reason, it just wouldn't work. And unfortunately, lap 1 happened to be one of those times, and I was just trying to do my best to stay out of the way. And the next thing I knew, I was in the middle 3 wide.
You ended up being the meat of a sandwich.
Yeah, they didn't quite understand what I was trying to do, and so I was just trying to, I don't know, almost let them go by so that we at least survived it.
I don't know if Morris completely survived it, but...
Yeah, I think he did get the lead for a little while, but I think...
Yeah, he was running the lead, and then he ended up off track in the dirt.
Yeah, I think he got his right rear off the track going up the back stretch, and you got to be careful about that. It can be the end of your race.
We've seen a lot of people putting a good amount of marbles out there, and so...
Yeah, there was a lot of sand on the track for sure, and some of it I was responsible for.
I'm honestly surprised not a lot more ended up cutting that corkscrew corner, because I've seen a lot of guys cut it.
Well, I think we learned pretty early on that there was a slowdown if you got too far off of it. So obviously my first lap there was a slowdown, like I said, and I actually got, I cut it a little bit too much a little bit later in the race, but I think my car was still close enough to the track that didn't give me a slowdown. So you wanted to avoid it for sure, because it was pretty murder if you got too far out.
Yeah, and it's usually that right hand, that whenever you turn it back right hand is whenever you're going to get it.
Yeah, well, just pretty much all of it. If you don't get slowed down enough, you just can't turn sharp enough to make it. So, but you need to avoid going off at all costs, because even if you come to a complete stop, just to make sure you stay on the track, that's better than getting a slowdown. Yeah,
them track officials, they'll get you.
Yeah, no kidding, jerks.
So, but congrats on getting that first place tonight, and you got sponsor shout-outs you want to thank for getting you in the victory lane.
Yeah, so thanks to everybody that supports me and supports you. Thanks to my wife for her support, and Last of Us on my car, having a good couple weeks here. Game on Part 2 coming on PC, and Season 2, Episode 2 came out yesterday, so I've been enjoying that. Everyone go check it out.
Okay, well, I know you've been anxious to see it and everything, so...
Yeah, that's an understatement. I'm a little sad that there's only 7 episodes in the season, and then they're going to have to wait another year or so to film the next season, so I hate waiting for seasons to come out. I'm like, just give it to me all. Binge it.
Well, the points are updated, and trying to see where I have standings. There we go. Looks like you're leading the standings. Trying to see where the points are at.
Yeah, I have Chase behind me a little ways, and I'm just trying to...
Yeah, there's about 20 points between you and Chase.
Yeah, so he's hanging in there behind me, so I'm having to have near-perfect races every single week just to try to hold on, because he's right there all the time.
I don't think he's going anywhere.
I hope not.
You're just hoping he doesn't come ahead.
Well, I mean, I always want to end up on top, but I like to see other people succeed too. But just as long as he doesn't get more points than me.
Alrighty, well, congrats there for the win, and we'll see you in the next one. Are you racing the GT, or I mean the Gen 4s on Wednesdays?
Yeah, I'm gonna give it a try. I have very limited time in them, but I'm leading the point standings, so I'm gonna try to run for as long as that continues. And if I start to lose it, or if I hate them, then maybe I'll stop. But for right now, I'm gonna keep riding it. And Chase has to, so I'm gonna
you got a week to figure them out, because this week's a non-points race. So I mean, you can come out and I think I heard Chase say we're going to Auto Club.
Yeah. Yeah, it'll be a good time. I'm looking forward to at least trying it out, seeing what it's like.
Alrighty, well, congrats again on your victory, and we'll see you in the next race.
All right, see you Wednesday. Bye, Adam.
All right, that was Mark Nelson, our victory winner here tonight. Hopefully everybody enjoyed the streams tonight. And we'll catch you Wednesday night for the FMA Gen 4s. And then Thursday we got another night of action-packed racing. So thank you all for watching, and have yourself a great night.